How you doing? This is Don with Maranatha Ventures. This is going to be a short video on a modification I've done on this camper. And so I'm going to talk about the mounting system. First, a little brief of the mounting system about the Darche, what holds our Darche and the mount, made by Kimberley 2 Cape, full wheel and accessories. Originally, when I did this, I built what they call a skeleton, interior skeleton mount that you couldn't see because it was all up inside the storage area, and it worked great. But part of the situation that I wanted to do differently was built a duplicate of the Runaways roof mount with the tubes and all that, and the upright brackets and all. And so what I've done is I disassembled everything, but I also wanted to be able to carry a set of traction boards or recovery boards and a set of 12-inch by 48-inch waffle off-road bridging ladder boards also, especially when we're doing backcountry discovery routes, BDRs, because you never know when you need a bridging boards to bridge over washed out gaps that are wider than what the truck can be able to overcome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what I came up with. Is I duplicated the Runaway roof mount rack. So what I done was that I used the 6-inch by 8-inch by 1/4-inch mild steel for the uprights. I used a piece of 4-inch by 6-inch by 1/4-inch mild steel for a bolt-on bracket. And then what I also used was a 7-foot section, which is I cut down to size, of round mild steel tubing, 1.5 inch outside diameter, but the inside wall thickness is 0.120 wall thickness, and I cut that to the size. And what I done was that I also came up with a 1/4-inch by 6-inch by 1-inch aluminum spacers to space it from all the corner moldings. And then I used 5 of the 1/4-20 bugle head stainless steel by 3-inch in length machine screws to attach it all. And then there's flat washers, lock washers, and nuts holding it from the inside. What I did after I got it all welded and sized up and fitted, then I sanded it all down and I primed it, and then put 3 coats of automotive baseline black satin finish on it, so it would match the rest of the roof racks from Runaway. What's holding the mounting system I did for the recovery boards and the bridging ladders are, I used 1.5-inch billet aluminum clamps that they use them in race cars for holding accessories on, such as fire extinguishers or whatever. 1/4-inch by 2-inch by 12-inch long aluminum flat bar, and then the spacer in between is It's a grade A bolt, 5/16 by 1/2 inch. And then I used the X-bowl mounting system for the recovery boards. It worked out good. It's nice and solid. It's also, when I built this camper, as in doing all the mods, changing it from street to off-road, I kept in mind for resale value. So I wanted to do everything tastefully done. So if someone didn't like these, they can unbolt these and they could use kayaks, because this particular roof rack I built, instead of the actual size of the upright, I made it taller so it's level with all the existing Runaway roof racks that's on there, so they can run kayaks or canoe or whatever. But for us, it works out great because I can get up there by just stepping up on the swing out spare tire carrier and undo them. So this is a nice addition here. I'm really stoked how it turned out. It's cleanly and tastefully done. So the other situation what I'm going to talk about is Arkansas had some weird snow storms. Here in the Ozarks, we're in the foothills in north central Arkansas, our farm is at. So we got a very strange, it's not like your typical snow that we got this year. What we got is we got a good layer thickness of 2.5 to 3 inches of snow. Then it sleeted heavily, and then that sleet froze, and then another layer of snow went on top of that, another 2.5, 3 inches more, and then another layer of sleet, and then a light dusting more snow came on there. So our truck, the GMC Old Heavy, you can check out the video on that. Talks about all the performance upgrades that's been done to it. Our driveway is a circular driveway, and down the bottom of the circle, the driveway will slowly cant off to one side. It cants off to one side. So when I was backing Old Heavy out of the carport to go to town, we got onto that area that is canted, and the top section of the ice and snow broke loose, and the truck slid off into some pine trees and caused some body damage. So tomorrow, Heavy goes in for body shop down in Batesville to have the dents fixed on her. So right before the wheel well on the bed, there's a basketball size dent that's pushed in, and right above the center of the wheel well on the right front fender, there's a grapefruit size dent in there. And she just wouldn't get out of there. I had to use some traction boards, and I couldn't winch her out because the angle of the truck, the way the truck was, it would just cause more damage. And so there's some scrapes going down the side where it just had to run down along the side of the pine trees and left their mark. So I don't mind pinstriping when we're running trails, because our truck had plenty of pinstripings on the sides. But otherwise, it was a clean truck. It's nice and clean. She'll be cleaned up again. I should say she. I should say he. But anyways, this is going to be a short video. Just some of the mods that we're going to do. Why he's in the body shop getting done. We're gonna debate on doing the Arkansas Trans-America Trail for recoup, or maybe doing Jared's one of Jared's from West OK Overland's discovery routes in Oklahoma on the west side of the state, called the Painted Desert. Beautiful country out there. Beautiful. Just talking about a diverse amount of change, from woodland to flatlands to New Mexico style plateaus. It's just beautiful. It's one or the other. We're going to try to get two multiple day trips in. But we're definitely going to be doing the Arkansas section of the Midwest Discovery route that starts off in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The neat thing about this one is that you do a ferry crossing into Missouri. So that's going to be a neat thing. I'm going to check with the ferry operator if I can fly my drone while we're on the ferry to get some pictures of that. But otherwise, that's what's going on. I just done the roof rack and changed it from an interior skeletal mounting system for our Darche Ensuite swing out to an exterior to match the rest of it. And I thought I did a pretty good job of matching all of it for, you know, being consistent through Runaways. The only thing is difference between the Runaways and mine, theirs is done with 5/16 outside diameter aluminum tubing with aluminum uprights. Mine is done with mild thick wall steel. And but it all came out good. It all came out good, and I was pleased about how it all came out. The swing out works perfect, closes away perfect. So anyways, we'll catch you on the next video. And don't forget, I got a little short devotion. I think you'll like it. God bless. This devotion will be coming out of the New Testament. I'll be reading from the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2. I'll also be reading from the English Standard Version. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. When I think about Romans 12:2, I think about how our camper has gone through a huge transformation from street to off-road. It involves making careful examinations before and during the build process. There was a purpose for the transformation of this camper. It didn't just happen overnight, but through a slow, long process. This new version of this camper fulfills its true purpose and is unrecognizable from its old state. The Bible's meaning of the word transformation means change or renewal from a life of old to a life of new. This process is a day-by-day rededication of ourselves to God. Believe me, it is not an easy task. What we go through is much like a process which a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. We must understand that it is an ongoing life process. The only way we can do this is allowing God to make the changes within us. The word that fits into this is humility. We allow ourselves to be humbled by the changes. It's surrendering to Him with a willingness to the changes. This is not a sign of weakness. Matter of fact, it is a sign of strength and obedience. This means trust and faithfulness. What happens to us is a change to our thinking that changes our behavior, that will lead us to know God, what He wants from us, so that we can live in a way that is pleasing to Him. I have people ask me, what do I have to give up? Everything? My answer to them is simple. Give up the sin, the things God hates. I explain I still do the things I've done for years, but without sin involved. Instead, I do the things that glorify God in the things I do. It's pretty simple. I'm not saying I'm sinless. What I'm saying is I make mistakes, but I take the measures needed to repent of the mistake that makes me turn away from sin. We are no longer bound to the chains of sin. We are free to live our lives in fullness of God's grace. What makes the life of faith so good? That's another one that people ask me. It's living our life with the assurance and conviction of God's specific and unchanging promises that gives us a steadiness and joy we seek. It's experiencing those promises that are available to us every day of our life, whether we have seasons of ease or difficulty. Without renewing our minds, we are prone to believing the lies of the enemy rather than God's truth. Here's the fact. True, genuine transformation is God achieved and God sustained. I hope somebody gets something out of this devotion. I really do. Give God the time he deserves. God bless.